Hello students, today we are going to take up the chapter number 5 surface chemistry and topics are adsorption and catalysis. So let us start with a very good thought. Gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. So in life we should be thankful to what we have. That would leads to a happy life. So learning outcomes from this video is you would be able to explain about adsorption and absorption, physical and chemical adsorption. The type of adsorption means factors which affect adsorption, types and adsorption, isotherms, isobars, applications of adsorption, catalysis, types of catalyst, mechanism involved, homogeneous and heterogeneous, enzyme and mechanism. Let us start with the first. The name itself, surface chemistry, signifies it is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of nature of surface of solid. What is the nature of the surface of solid, and with the physical and chemical processes occurring on solid surface. Physical process like change, absorption is a physical process where there is a chemical bond is there, that is a chemical process, reaction is involved, that is a chemical process. Okay, so the mechanism when we are finding, that is a chemical process. When we are checking the porosity of the solid, then we are related with the physical changes. Now let us start with the term known as adsorption. If you just take a chalk and dip into the bottle containing ink, and you will find that the surface of chalk will become blue if ink is blue. Then if you break that chalk in the middle portion, you will not find any blue spot, but the blue spot will be on the surface. That means the accumulation of substance, what substance? Ink on the surface of chalk, that is solid. So here I have talked about liquid solid case in case of ink and chalk, but it may be gas solid. So it means if you are talking of, let us say, silica gel. Silica gel is a solid. It can adsorb the moisture from the air. So that is process called adsorption. So similarly, here whatever is adsorbed, the material, whether it is gas or liquid, it is called adsorbate. And the solid which is adsorbing the mass of liquid or gas, it is called adsorbent. And one of the characteristic of adsorbent is the surface area, active surface area, active senders. These words we will come across very frequently. Okay, so as you see from the diagram, this is activated charcoal. Activated charcoal is nothing but it's a destructive distillation of coal. We are getting the charcoal, and charcoal when increased, the porosity of the surface is increased, that we are saying activated by passing through superheated steam. Okay, so the gas molecules, when the structure is porous, the gas is having tendency to adsorb on the surface of the activated charcoal. The process is called adsorption. Let us start with the next. Adsorption, it is the accumulation of molecular species. Molecular species can be gas or liquid. Mostly it is in gas at the surface rather than the bulk. Surface only and the bulk. When we are talking about the case like chalk, middle portion, that is known as bulk, and the surface portion where the ink was adsorbed, so that is called surface. Okay, surface and bulk, these two words will be used frequently. And adsorbate, adsorbate is the mass, the substance which is getting adsorbed. It could be gas, it could be liquid. In case of any reactions like nitrogen plus hydrogen give ammonia, the catalyst uses iron, iron is a solid, and the gas is adsorbate, and the iron, finely divided iron, is called adsorbent. Okay, so hopefully this is clear to you. And the surface on which adsorption takes place is called adsorbent. Next is desorption. Desorption is the opposite of adsorption. The process of removing an adsorbed substance that is desorption. This all takes place when a catalytic reaction takes place in a heterogeneous system. That we will come to discuss more about that. Absorption, absorption is the phenomena in which a substance is uniformly distributed all over the surface. Uniformly distributed, that also one more thing word we are saying that it is the concentration is same at the surface and at the bulk. So this is the term known as absorption. Okay, so you can see from the diagram here, absorption, these molecules are inside and here only on the surface. So this is the meaning involved in adsorption and absorption. So the basic difference we have covered already. So the process in which there is adhesion. Adhesion is the molecular between the different species, like solvent and the adsorbate and adsorbent are different. That's why the molecular forces are adhesion of atoms, ions or molecule from a gas, liquid or dissolved solid to the surface involves the surface area of the material. And here one substance takes up another substance through minute pores or spaces between them, involves the whole volume of the material. Means the gas or liquid is absorbed throughout and here it is only on the surface. This is the meaning. Now the difference already we have discussed a number of times. The accumulation of the molecular species of the surface and not in the bulk, and the process of atom and molecules enters the bulk. It is a surface phenomenon, it's a bulk phenomena, it's exothermic. Whenever you know that, whenever the system here, what is happening is the active centers are there on the surface of solid. Once the bond is found between the adsorbate and adsorbent, there is a release of energy, and that is leads to the Gibbs free energy change as delta G is negative. So that means that here adsorption is exothermic process and absorption is endothermic process, because it may require heat a little bit for the process. The energy difference is although very less in case of absorption. In this concentration, the surface is different from that of bulk. Here concentration is same throughout. It is a temperature dependent. It is not affected by temperature. Generally, we cannot rule out that some of the cases might be there where it would be different. Next, factors affecting adsorption. What are the factors? Now we will go in detail. So see the nature of the adsorbent, means what type of solid surface is there. When we say finely divided and when we say normal, so both are different because surface area will be different. And state of subdivision means the porosity is different, the surface area is different, the tendency to attract specific molecules are different. So therefore nature of adsorbent is deciding that what that adsorbent will adsorb on the surface. So for example, we use a finely divided iron for preparation of ammonia. We cannot use let us say vanadium pentoxide for the same. That is the meaning. Second is nature of adsorbent, means what type. Some gases are easily adsorbed, some are not. So generally we can say that easily soluble gas can be adsorbed to larger extent. Means to say that, for example, ammonia is highly soluble in water. It can be easily adsorbed on the surface of solid. But as compared to hydrogen, that will be lesser soluble. It depends on the tendency of that adsorbate to form bond with adsorbent. Third is pressure. Pressure adsorption is directly proportional to pressure up to saturation point. We cannot say I am going to increase the pressure to the 4-fold, 10-fold, 100-fold and the adsorption will going to rise. No, it's not. At certain pressure, the adsorption rate of adsorption will be constant. It will, no doubt, it will increase to certain extent. It will follow certain pressure curves, isotherms curves. It will be followed. And that we are going to discuss in the next slides. Next is temperature. Adsorption is generally temperature inversely relation is there as far as physical adsorption is concerned. So now we will next discuss about physical and chemical, that we will go in detail that how physical and chemical adsorption differ with the temperature. Now this is physisorption and chemisorption. It means two types, physical adsorption or chemical adsorption. What is the meaning? The force. As I told you already, the force between the adsorbate and adsorbent will be weak forces in case of physisorption or physical adsorption, and there is strong covalent bond. As you know that whenever bonds are formed, energy is released. Therefore, the delta H, enthalpy of adsorption, is very high in case of chemisorption. That is, delta H is minus 240 or minus 80 kilojoule per mole. But as compared to that, in physiosorption, it is minus 20 to minus 40 kilojoule per mole. So, means to say that the delta H inactive is less as in physiosorption and chemical smoke. Whatever the red portion specified the number, these are the most important part we should focus on this. Specificity. So, specific, that is highly specific. Chemisorption is highly specific. Non-specific means any absorbent you can use, it will work in a similar fashion, but not in the case of chemisorption. There is a specific catalyst for a specific reaction. So, that is the meaning. Vanadium pentoxide is there, that is used for preparation of sulfur trioxide from sulfur dioxide. So, that there only it will be used. This is the specific nature. Occurrence, ordinary temperature, relatively high temperature, reversibility, reversible, irreversible, and nature of adsorbent layer is multi. So many time question came in this. Multi-layer is physiosorption and monolayer is chemisorption. And along with that, effect of temperature. Now see, here came the effect of temperature. With increase in temperature, physiosorption decrease because the forces are weak. Even small temperature you are increasing, it will detach from the surface of the solid. So first here chemisorption, you know that for any reaction to take place, any bonds to take place, there may be some energy of activation required for the reactant molecule to cross the energy barrier. So it means the startingly temperature required, but as soon as the bond is formed, the energy will be released, so the reaction will be exothermic. Then further temperature will be no more required. So this is the reason that the effect of temperature for chemical adsorption is first increase and then decrease with increase in temperature. Then activation energy is almost equal to 0, and here is high activation. That's why temperature is required in the starting. Process of adsorption is rapid, and it may be rapid or slow. Now next is adsorption isotherms. Isotherms, iso means same, therm means temperature. So temperature is constant. Here the constant parameter is temperature. Then what is the variable? Variable is pressure. Along with that, what is the next variable is x by m. What is x by m? X is mass of gas adsorbed per unit mass of adsorbent. I would like to repeat, x is mass of gas adsorbed on the fixed mass of adsorbent, that is called m. Okay, so now adsorption isotherms are what? It is the relationship between x by m and p at constant temperature. So let us see the here isotherm, x by m in y-axis and p. So now you can see very well that as the pressure is increasing and x by m increases in the linear fashion, and after that there is a saturation point. The pressure, if you are increasing the pressure, then also the mass of gas adsorbed per unit mass of adsorbent is not going to change, and that pressure is known as saturation pressure. If you are going to increase more than the saturation pressure, it will not benefit in the adsorption system. Okay. Now, so in our syllabus, we are having Freundlich adsorption isotherms, where the curve you can see here is a graph between x by m and p with the varying parameters of pressure. And if you see the diagram here, you can see the three different equation here. X by m is equal to kp, and in the middle it is x by m is equal to kp raised to power 1 by m, and at the end we can see that x by m is equal to kp raised to power 0. It means to say that the curve, the p raised to the power 1 by n is either 1 by n is from 0 to 1. So this is the basic range of which is covering the full curve. So general equation for Freundlich adsorption isotherm is x by m is equal to kp raised to power 1 by n, where n is greater than 1. Taking log on both sides, we will get log x by m is equal to log kp, and you know the formula of log m into n. What is that? Log m into n is equal to log m plus log n. Similarly, log kp raised to power 1 by n is equal to log k plus log p raised to power 1 by n, and you know one more formula, log m raised to power n is equal to n log m. So similarly, after applying these two logarithmic formulas, we will get the final equation as log x by m is equal to log log K plus 1 by N log P, where X is the mass of gas adsorbed, M is the mass of adsorbent, K is rate constant, and 1 by N is the constant, and log P is the pressure. Now as you compare this equation by y is equal to mx plus c, you will find that if you draw the graph between log x by m and log P will be, next slide you will get to know that. So what is that? Just see here, this log x by m, log c, slope is 1 by n and the intercept c is log k. So this way we are able to draw the graph between the gas rate of adsorption versus pressure. Now one more parameter here, x by mp. So this is the curve. This curve says that as the pressure is increasing, the rate of adsorption is increasing, but at certain pressure the pressure will be having no effect. So there won't be any effect under that. So that pressure is known as saturation pressure. So now see, there are three cases. Now here, when the pressure is very low, x by m is equal to Kp, P is equal to 1, so linear variation. When the pressure is intermediate means between A and B, and you will find that 1 by n is in between 0 to 1. Third case is when pressure is very high, the magnitude of adsorption first increase with pressure and then again a certain point saturation, and then finally if you increase more, then it will become decrease, starts to decrease also. Sorry. So now we are going to discuss about the, hopefully you have discussed, we are clear with the adsorption isotherms. So you need to remember the curves, the equation and the range of 1 by n from 0 to 1 in the different point of the curve. Next is adsorption isobars. Iso means same, bar means pressure. Pressure is same. Now we are going to measure the temperature effect on the rate of adsorption, that is x by m. Now you see the two curves in the left hand side, x by m temperature decrease is there, and in the next one curve x by m is increasing and then decreasing. So you now remember earlier we have discussed that for physical adsorption and chemical adsorption, these are the two curves. As temperature increases, physical adsorption decreases, and as temperature increases, chemical adsorption first increase then decrease. Okay, so this is the curve. Now generally we can discuss that with the increase of temperature, what will be the effect? As soon as the temperature is increasing, you can see that this is 195, it's 244. As the temperature is increased, the rate of adsorption x by m is decreasing. Okay, and at certain point it will be same, it will be constant. That's pressure increasing and different temperature curves. This is we have to see, these curves are decreasing trend if the temperature is increasing. Now applications of adsorption is removing of coloring matter. For example, when we are making sugar from sugar cane, the color is green, dark green, and you are getting white color sugar at home. How we are going to do that is through adsorption. Second is drying. When you go to the market and give the cloths to dye, the dyeing process is adsorption. Softening of hard water, like some that softeners, water softeners are being added. If you have automatic machine, also the manufacturer recommends the use of softener. Why? Because that also is having the adsorption phenomena involved in that. Chromatography, where different colors can be adsorbed and separate, that you have done in +1 also in experiment. So that also is a part of adsorption. Gas marks in coal mines. Coal mines, there are different gases might be there, and that may be cause fatality with the workers working in the coal mines. So they have been given the masks. The mask is useful to adsorb the gases which are harmful to the people working over there. In production and preserving high vacuums, so to create a vacuum like conditions, we can use the adsorption. And catalysis also we are discussing in detail in the next part. Controlling humidity, also adsorption plays an important role. Separation of noble gases means, because this depends on the specific, like this gas will be adsorbed, another will not be adsorbed. So this way we can separate the gases. Froth flotation process, that also we will discuss in the next chapter again further. So these are all application of adsorption. Now catalyst, second part of the topic. First we have discussed about the adsorption. Now second part is catalyst. Why we discuss? Because catalyst is correlated with the adsorption phenomena, because heterogeneous catalysis system is the base is adsorption phenomena. Substance which alters the rate of chemical reaction without being used up. So sometimes we are saying it is not participating. That is wrong actually. It's participating but it's not getting consumed. That is called catalyst, and the phenomenon is called catalysis. And the examples, most common examples are lead chamber process. SO2 plus O2 give rise to SO3. The catalyst is NO gas. Similarly, hydrolysis of ester CH3COCH3 methyl acetate. Hydrolysis gave ethanoic acid and methanol. So this is also the example of catalyst where the catalyst is acid. In the hydrolysis of sugar, we are using sulfuric acid as the catalyst. Hydrolysis sugar gives glucose and fructose. Now you can see the curve here. What is the curve meaning is here this energy is used, and this is the reactant, this is the product, and reactant is converted to product. It has to cross the energy barrier. If you are not using catalyst, the curve is the red portion. The curve has to undergo this type of change to cross this energy barrier. Now this energy barrier is reduced by use of catalyst. So what is the role of catalyst? Catalyst decrease the activation energy of the reaction. Now this has been done. It decreased the activation energy by providing alternate paths. So this is reactant is going to products. The activation energy is this much. After using the catalyst, the activation energy is reduced because reactant and the products, that state has not been changed. Please see that energy of the reactants is same in the uncatalyzed and catalyzed. Energy is same, reactant and products. Okay. Next, positive catalyst. These are the two types of catalyst, positive and negative catalyst. Positive means it increases the rate of reaction, and negative means it decreases the rate of reaction. For example, we have discussed already Haber process. Finally, we are using vanadium pentaoxide is used for the preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process by using vanadium pentaoxide. Pentaoxide is solid, and SO2 and O2, that is gases. SO3 is formed in that. Negative catalyst is glycerin is used to retard the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide into oxygen. If you normally say the reaction rate will be very less, but if you add glycerin, that it will stop the production of oxidation or retard the production of oxygen. Okay. Next, types. Again, for the two types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous means the phases are same. Phase between what and what? Reactant and the catalyst. Reactant phases and catalyst phase will be same. That's homogeneous. Heterogeneous, the catalyst and reactants are different phase. Enzymes are also there. That's the next part we'll discuss. Their catalyst is an enzyme, that is biocatalyst. Now, these are the examples of homogeneous catalyst system. As we discussed that NO gas is a catalyst here, and all these phases are gas. Similarly, sugar, this acid is in liquid phase, and these all are reactant products are in liquid phase. Similarly, this is also hydrolysis of ester. This is in the aqueous phase, and all the reactant products are in the same phase. Homogeneous catalysis system. Next is heterogeneous. There you can see finely divided. This is solid, this is gas. So it is heterogeneous system. Similarly, here solid, gas. It's heterogeneous system. TiCl4 trialkyl aluminium. This is catalyst is known as Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Trialkyl aluminium and titanium tetrachloride. This catalyst is used to prepare HDP, high density polyethylene. Okay. So very important question this is. Next, the mechanism. As I told you already, adsorption and desorption are the most important area here, along with the chemical reaction taking place on the surface of solid. One of the reactant approaches means there is movement of the reactants towards the solid surface. This is called adsorption, and the solid surface must be having active sites. And active sites are having tendency to form bond with the reactants. Once the bond is formed, the energy will be released. That's why delta H is inactive in adsorption. Another reactant approaches means one reactant, one or two, they both are adsorbing on the surface of solid. That is called adsorbent, and the rearrangement of electron takes place or reaction takes place on the surface of solid. Surface of solid act as a medium to bring the reactants together and undergo the reaction. Once the reaction is over, the products are released from the surface to the bulk, to the outside, where it was no process known as desorption. Okay, so this is the mechanism of catalyst. First, adsorption of reactant takes place, and two reactants takes place, and then chemical reaction takes place, and the product formation is there, and then desorption. Now, the important feature of solid catalyst is activity and selectivity. Catalyst accelerates the chemical reaction. To what extent? That is called activity. For example, this reaction, hydrogen plus oxygen, if you normally combine that, no water will be formed. But if you combine in the presence of a catalyst, it may react violently to form water. This involves the basis of formation of water as well as electricity in a fuel cell. You have studied in the last chapter fuel cell working where platinum was used as a catalyst. Selectivity. Selectivity, that a particular reaction to give with the different product, different types of product can be given, or specific product is given, that is known as selectivity. Or we can say very briefly that separate catalyst for a separate reaction. Like copper 573 is used to prepare ethanol or aldehyde from alcohol, that is dehydrogenation. And if you use zinc oxide, copper and chromium oxide couple, so that is used to convert carbon monoxide into methanol. So this is the different catalysts are used for different reactions that involve the selectivity of a catalyst. Now, shape selective catalyst, this is one of the important part question can be asked, that is also known as zeolites. What is that basically? The reactions that depends upon the pore structure. The structure, the adsorbent, the structure there for solid, porosity is more. And the size of the reactant or product molecule means if the porosity, the size, porosity is defined as how much the size is there on the surface of solid. The size of the reactant molecules and the porosity, if it is same, it will be adsorbed. If it is more of the size or more for the reactant, it will not be adsorbed. The specific reactants are getting adsorbed. That depends on the pore structure and the size of the reactant molecules. If it is same, it will be adsorbed. Zeolites is used as catalyst in petrochemical industries. Where is the use? Zeolites are used in the petrochemical industries. For what? For cracking of hydrocarbon and isomerization. So you see that N-pentane to 2-methyl-butane. So this way. So this is the role of zeolites. An important zeolite catalyst used in the petroleum industry is ZSM-5. So it converts alcohol directly into gasoline, petrol by dehydrating them to a mixture of hydrocarbons. So this is very important application you should keep in mind for ZSM-5. Okay. And now next and the last topic is enzymes. Enzymes are globular protein which act as a biocatalyst in the living system. Their biological reactions are taking place which involves catabolism and anabolism. And different enzymes are there. For example, invertase is used to convert sucrose into glucose and fructose. Similarly, amylase is used to convert starch into glucose. Maltase is used to convert starch into glucose. Pepsin trypsin is used to convert proteins into amino acid. Nuclease is used to convert DNA into nucleotides. So these are monomers, and from where it is converted, that are polymers. Okay. So now mechanism involved in the enzyme action is, first of all, enzyme is highly specific because specific site are required that are not the active sites. As per the active sites, only that reactions will take place. That reactant only will be adsorbed. The active sites are associated with the presence of some functional group which undergo some weak interactions with the substrate molecule. Substrate is like reactant. And the shape of active site on a given enzyme is such that only a specific substrate can bind. Means there is a force of attraction, weak force between the substrate means reactant, and the enzyme. So a simple setup is there. If it will be fixed, then only the reaction will take place. Means lock and key mechanism is there in that. Okay. So more we will discuss in next. Just see that next slide. So this is the step: enzyme plus substrate. Substrate is nothing but reactant. And the reactant, the nature should be like that. The enzyme is having specific lock and key mechanism, like this is enzyme, this is a portion there. It should fit here. Otherwise, the active sites, if not matching, so it will not undergo a chemical reaction. So enzyme plus substrate give enzyme substrate. Enzyme substrate forming the products, and the enzyme is recovered, regenerated, and can be used again and again. So this is known as lock and key mechanism. Now, characteristic of enzyme is same as that of catalyst also, specificity. And that, for example, urease is used to convert urea into ammonia and carbon dioxide. So it's means different. Urea is something maltase cannot be used for that. So specific enzyme, catalytic efficiency increases the rate of reaction to transfer 6 times, 10 million times. Okay, so next is regarding to small quantities, means very less quantity, means if you want to convert, let us say 100 into 10 power 3, like we can say 100 kg, and I need 1 gram only for that, the catalyst. So this is the meaning, that 10 power 5 times more the reactant it can be converted to product. Only 1 gram is required, as per 5 gram is the reactants we can use that. Very less quantity is required. Optimum temperature is just the room temperature, 37 degrees as a body temperature, our body temperature, and pH of 5 to 6 also. It can be just neutral pH. Enzyme inhibitors, sensitive to inhibitors like HCl. Normally it has been seen that where the sulfur, this nitrogen, these are acting as a poison for the enzymes as well as the catalyst. So now we can recap what we have learned. Adsorption we have discussed, this is surface phenomena, absorption is bulk phenomena. Adsorption depends on the nature of adsorbent, surface area, nature of adsorbate, pressure and temperature. Isotherms gives the rate of adsorption with the change in pressure at constant temperature, whereas adsorption isobars gives the variation of rate of adsorption with temperature at constant pressure. And positive catalyst increase the rate, whereas negative catalyst decrease the rate. Homogeneous catalyst and heterogeneous catalyst and enzyme catalyst with mechanism we have discussed in detail. What you have to remember is we need to remember the different catalyst and different enzyme names for specific reactions. We need to know about the difference in adsorption and adsorption. We need to know about physical adsorption and chemical adsorption, and desorption and certain definition. These are theoretical based chapter. We have to learn small specific areas. Okay, so thought for the session as a reminder is gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. Okay, thank you very much.